everyone. Welcome to our first most disappointed and failed movies of 2024. I will start out first. Number 10, the most disappointed film of 2024 is Moana 2. Boy, did I was flabbergasted by this film. I just didn't enjoy it. Even though a lot of people went to go see this film because it broke records, like $963 million in the box office. People enjoy this. I have no idea why. It's probably because the animation, Disney know what it is. Dwayne Johnson is Dwayne Johnson in it. And to be honest, it's just one of those films that I think it should have never been made in the first place. And to be honest, you're kind of right, because if you thought that way, because it was supposed to be a TV series, but in the last moment, they actually made it to a film. And you could tell, like, it is very disorganized. The villains sucked. Their adventure sucked. It wasn't that great. I think when I went to this film, I had a lot of, like, praise for the film. I thought I was going to enjoy it. But to be honest, I was basically just disappointed. So how about yourself, Ocean? What do you have?
For number 10, I have Subservience. This is the new Megan Fox AI movie that came out on Netflix, I think. I like Megan Fox, so I was kind of excited to see this, but I knew it was probably going to be bad. And I'm just like, there's no point because I don't think he's interested. But it was bad in kind of a fun way. So, like, that's why it's number 10. It was still fun to watch. It was bad, but it was still fun. So.
All right. Now, you and I went to go watch this film. I was hoping that we'd have high hopes for this film. But for number 10, I had to put Kung Fu Panda 4. Ooh. This was just not a good film. I mean, I wish I liked the film. I mean, it looked good, but you could tell there was something going on behind the scenes, or something happened, because this was a film that probably should have not been made. They probably should have just stopped at 3. Now, if they plan on continuing, they should not do what they did here, because this was just a bad story. It was boring, unfunny. It seems like they lost all of the Furious 5, and they're like, oh shit, what do we do? We'll bring Tai Lung back. Everyone liked Tai Lung, and they brought him, and he sucked. The whole film was just bad, and the new Dragon Warrior allegedly was not good. That is why it was number 10. It was not really a fun film at all.
All right, so number 9. What do we have, Ocean?
Number 9, I have Madam Web. I didn't hate it as much as everyone else.
That's a rarity. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't expect much from it, so it could be that. Also, I just feel like I liked the cast, and they were just giving nothing, and it was kind of funny, and it was really bad, but more watchable than the others, I'd say, is what I'll say. It was kind of funny bad.
So for number 9, I put The Crow. The Crow was just boring, and it sucked ass. It had Bill Skarsgård, his story, and I felt like his acting in that one. I mean, I felt him try to act whatever he could with the script, but the script wasn't having him. So I thought it only had like really one good scene. That's when he's in the opera scene, or in the opera, and that was it, because of the gore and the action sequence. But that was it. Other than that, that film was dog shit. It took them maybe 17 years just to make a remake of The Crow, and this movie had actor after actor after actor after actor after actor, and I mean that. They had a bunch of actors. They had like Chris Evans, they had I think Hugh Jackman. They had so many problems with these films, so many people dropping out, the directors, the writers, and again the main lead. Up until this point, they finally casted Skarsgård, and this came out. They wanted to make this movie, they should have just left this movie. That was a bad film.
So my number 9 is, I was right with you. We're almost lined up, but it is definitely Kung Fu Panda 4. Boy, did I not care about this film. The only thing I cared about was at least a couple of jokes with the dads in the bar, and that was it. Mm-hmm. I would rather watch that over and over than watch this whole movie. This movie did not make any sense. It wasn't supposed to be made, but I guess DreamWorks just wanted to push this one out like a fast cash grab. And boy, was I disappointed. And it fooled many fans believing that the Furious 5 were going to show. They never did.
Just
until
mentioned.
in the very end of the credit scene, you get the glimpse of them, and they don't even talk.
Yeah.
So basically, it is a fuck you to your fans, and this is something that I was very saddened because it is this was DreamWorks we're talking about, and you just slap us in the face like that.
They cashed in that Jack Black.
Exactly.
Being everywhere.
And everything else was just the worst. Hell, I didn't even care. I actually walked out to go to the bathroom, and I didn't look back. A piss in the drain. So obviously, a disappointing film for sure. All right, so let us go on to number 8. Ocean, what do we got?
Number 8, I have Humane. This was Cronenberg's daughter's first movie, so I feel bad putting it here. But her ideas were really great. Basically, this is about people that choose to kill themselves to help the population. I think because it's overpopulation. I might be forgetting, but it had a really cool premise, and then it ended up just being kind of like they didn't use the premise very well, and it was kind of boring, and it ended up just being kind of just a generic movie. So yeah, a bit disappointing, especially from a Cronenberg, but you know.
For number 8, now bear with me because I did pass out during the theaters, but it was A Quiet Place Day 1. That movie was boring. It was such a boring film that's supposed to have these alien angels of death. I don't remember their names correctly, but you would think there'd be a lot more going on in New York. There was really nothing. It was just these 3 characters, including the cat. I was so knocked out of this film. It knocked me out of this film. So I woke up to I woke up to the credits. That's what I woke up to. So it was a bad film. That is my number 8.
Well, for my number 8 is Venom, The Last Dance. You would think they would learn from the first 2 installments, but of course not. You give what the people they want, and they enjoy it. But for me, I didn't enjoy it. I fell asleep from the first Venom. The motorcycle scene, I did not get me. I don't know how people like it. And to be honest, I am shocked it got this far. Like, I am completely shocked.
Actually.
But hell, I guess I don't have good taste, you know? And, it's fair. Not everybody would enjoy these kind of films. I'm just one of those people that did not like this film at all. I think it's just one of those films. It just didn't click with me. Hell, I didn't even know what Tom Holland was talking about half the time. What was that?
Tom Hardy.
Oh, Tom Hardy. Yeah, exactly. See, I forgot his name already, but no, exactly. It's just very hard to understand him. The only person that I know was Venom, but they just keep making these characters into an anti-hero, and I'm just like, please, could we just concentrate them as being as villains? And then maybe we could talk about that later. But of course not. They want to make their own Spidey universe. And this is one of, I think, Sony's successes. But to me, I don't think it should have. Let us go on to number 7.
Since we're on that, Venom Last Dance is on my number 7 as well. That was an awful film. Just terrible. Tom Hardy in it, terrible. Actually terrible. Venom in it, terrible. And mind you, Venom I loved a lot as a Marvel Spider-Man villain. He looked awful. He looked awful dancing. He looked awful talking. He looked awful in the whole film. This whole film was dog shit. The only scene I probably like is when Tom Hardy's in Mexico and talking to the bartender. That's probably it. Besides that, there's nothing good in this film. I didn't have any fun with it. Even the ending with him sacrificing himself and all the symbiotes fighting and stuff like that. It was boring. It wasn't good. Venom, you suck. I can't believe you got 3, and I can't believe these writers wrote this. They suck. They all suck. This was awful. Do not watch it.
For 7, I have Crow, or is it called The Crow? I don't know. There was a few points where I thought, hey, maybe this is okay, and then I'd be like, oh, never mind.
It showed you.
The film did.
It would go like up and down for me to be like, and then I'm like, no, this is really bad. So, yeah, The Crow.
The Crow.
It looked very like early 2000s somehow. It looked it just had that quality to it that just was not good.
Yeah, there you go. So my number 7 is Gladiator 2. You know me, we already reviewed this, and basically I already said my piece with it. I didn't like this film. I think the first one is still better than the original. The original is better, but obviously people, would agree with me because I don't think they understand what the second one was trying to do. But obviously, it's just one of those movies. I think it came out a little too late. It's already done. I think a lot of these actors were, okay at most. Maybe the action scenes were all right. But to be honest, the CGI didn't work. Some of the plots didn't work. And to be honest, I could have lived without this film. And obviously, it's just one of those disappointing films that I went to go see. I was hyped for it, but it slowly, it just didn't work for me in the end. And I wish I would have been wrong, but obviously I wasn't. So let us go to number 6.
Number 6, I have Sting. This was the giant spider movie, and I was excited for this one because I heard it was pretty good. We ended up waiting until it was streaming just because there was so much out, and I was excited. And it was generic giant spider horror movie. It was a bit disappointing. I was excited for that one. No, it just was generic.
All right, so go ahead, boy.
So it's funny because I was torn. Sting was on that list. However, I remembered I did not really enjoy this film and it was overbearingly long, and I gave it to Wicked. I think Wicked is overhyped and was not good, not fun, especially the story and her friend. I forgot, Gabriella or something like that. I don't remember. Or Ariana Grande's character.
Glinda.
Yeah, Glinda, like, basically is too much of a coward and stuff like that in the end, but
She pissed me off.
yeah, she's okay as her. None of the music really I liked at all. I mean, I give them props for their props that they had and the choreography. But this movie was only half of a movie, which was a big middle finger. It was just kind of boring to me. Too long, way too long, and pretty like they kind of wanted to like just to have. But when you say ugly, it's just like let's have a bunch of colors, place them there, Point being, number 6 goes to Wicked. I didn't have much fun with this film.
There you go for number 6. Now for my number 6 is Mufasa, the Lion King. Boy, when I get over to that theater, I regretted it.
Oh.
When I went there, I was just like, oh, please don't sing this song. It's terrible. And I'm pretty sure you know what it is. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I was like, what's going on? What are you singing? And then obviously when it is interrupted by the story by 2 awful characters that I hate. Well, I didn't hate them at first, but now I do. It's Timon and Pumbaa. I'm like, what are you doing, Disney? You want me to hate these characters?
Actually.
And when they interrupted, they did another stupid song that I was just like confused, worried, and when it keeps on playing, I was just like, all right, I'm a little disappointed.
Sound
with this film.
was so bad. You couldn't understand what they were singing.
Exactly.
Because like they had the sound like on blast. You couldn't hear the actual actors singing.
And I wish, the CGI is at least a little bit better.
No.
At least. But other than that, when you start hearing and getting punched out of the immersion from a pig and a fucking weasel, you just don't want to be there anymore.
They needed to fill time in there.
And to give you my point across, a guy left in the theater and he never came back. And I was like, oh, he never came back. So this film was a disappointment for many audience, but hell, didn't made its money. So obviously Disney is doing something right, and it was one of the worst experiences that I felt thus far.
Number 5, I have Uglies. I was pretty excited for Uglies, but I knew it was going to be bad. But I read this series when I was in middle school, so I was excited for this. It was yeah, it's a Netflix movie. It was really bad. It did the thing also where it was like a cliffhanger, like half of a movie, but they didn't say that it was half of a movie, and I'm pretty sure they canceled it, so it's not even going to be finished, and because it was so bad. And I don't know, I don't even know how to explain this. Like, it was kind of fun to watch, I guess, because I'm seeing the book that I read when I was in middle school like on the screen, but it was like the way worse version of it.
All right. Speak No Evil was a failed film for this year. It was supposed to be a remake of something they made like a year or two ago, which I think was like a Swedish or something like that film. No, like a Denmark film. It missed all the marks. It became such a Hollywood cliche, and it rushed the story. They totally changed things. They lost that weird vibe that they had, which that the original movie has. This film, Speak No Evil, although the only thing I could say I liked in the film was James McAvoy, that's it. That film was terrible. It just became like an action film at the end. Like, they rushed the film, it felt, and took out some details that would have been more important if it was a slow burner film and more of a like interesting take on a story that really happened to the director of his thought of what could potentially happen or something like that. It just became like, he's bad guy, of course he's a bad guy and stuff like that, and did so many random things towards the end. We're like, why are you doing that? Like, why? Like, are you serious? It wasn't a good film. It was a failed film, I'll say.
That's one of your failed ones, and one of my failed ones that missed every mark, and including Sony, they could tell you, is Kraven the Hunter. Boy, did this suck. And I legitimately mean this literally.
All right, you guys gotta knock that off.
Yeah, to be honest, when I went to go see it, you could probably enjoy the first 10, 12 minutes, and after that is downhill from there. Even though you might enjoy some action scenes, I still think it is one of those failed movies that everybody could go see and tell you to your face, yeah, they tried doing everything to save this film. They tried adding blood, Russell Crowe. They tried adding some, he is a villain turning to good. I hated this film, but at least I was laughing at it. Let us go on to number 4.
I have Apartment 7A. What did this stream on? It was a streaming movie, and it's a prequel to my favorite movie of all time, Rosemary's Baby. And I don't know what I expected. I thought maybe it would be pretty good because Rosemary's Baby is so good. Yeah, it's mostly because I was just so excited for it. I did kind of watch it after I saw like it maybe like wasn't too good, so at least I didn't go in with like super high hopes. But it was pointless. There was no reason to make it. They basically just like remade the movie but bad. Like, just a low quality bad version, and that has been happening a lot lately. Like, there's been a bunch of like Rosemary's Baby like knockoffs. So that was terrible.
All right. For number 4, I'm sure everyone at least knows this was a movie we really didn't watch. I didn't want to watch, but we did it for the sake of watching it and learning about this film. And that was Borderlands 4. Terrible casting. Actual terrible casting. Not surprised. This failed in every checkbox. Completely missed the mark. The only reason why it's higher than the rest of these films, because one, they didn't piss me off as much, or second, no, they didn't piss me off as much. So yes, Borderlands, I saw the trailer, I instantly knew what I was getting, and I was correct, and it was failed. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Terrible movie.
Alright, so number 4 for me is Night Swim. Now, this is something that I freaking hate. I feel like they did this just because to piss me off, but they did. So I don't like it. I tried coming in there because, I was hoping that I'd get scared at least, or at least have some sort of nice little horror film. But it wasn't. It was the complete opposite. There was these characters that you don't care about. There's these stupid moments that happen, and you're just there baffled with what is even happening. What is going on? Hell, even I forgot some of the plot. It's like one of those movies that you go in there, you forget the next day. So I wish I would have not seen Night Swim. It is something that I regret seeing, and I just want my time back, but I'm never gonna get, and I regret it. That is my number 4. Let us go to number 3. And I'll take over here since we already talked about it, is Borderlands. Holy hell, did I hate this film. And I did. Because all these characters do not resemble anything from the characters that we love in the video game. Claptrap was Jack Black. He did a terrible job. I don't know what were you doing. To be honest, I think we're kind of getting, too much of Jack Black nowadays. So I kind of wish he doesn't start doing anything.
No, Jack Black is great.
I like him, but if you keep putting me, in characters that I desperately hate, you're gonna make me hate him.
He's just like The Rock. That's the problem. Like, he's just doing these roles.
Exactly. I just wish these characters did. They tried doing their best. Don't get me wrong, and you could tell they were exhausted. They were tired. All those rewrites got to them. They were trying to rush this film as fast as they can. The fighting scenes were terrible. And you could look at our reviews. Like, you could actually see some of the, like the neck snapping wasn't really a neck snap. It just didn't work. Yeah. I don't care if the CEO pays me millions of dollars to go see this. Keep that money. You're definitely going to need it after this, travesty. So this is one of the bad movies of 2024. And I could agree, all day with that. So number 3, go ahead, Ocean.
Mufasa. I was mad and I expected to hate it, and I was still mad. So that says something, because when you go into a movie expecting to hate it, you just don't expect anything, but I was still mad. Anyway, so I love Lion King. That was like my childhood. I would rewatch Lion King 2 and Lion King 1 over and over again. Even know a lot about like the lore. I watched Lion Guard. I hated Lion King 1.5 though. I hate Timon and Pumbaa. But anyway, I kind of just didn't even want to watch this because I already knew like they messed up the lore and stuff. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to watch it as like a separate thing. And my family wanted to watch it for like Christmas. So I was like, okay, it's a good movie to go with your family. But I had to just put myself in that space where I'm like, this is a different canon because they changed everything. But it still was so stupid. And I even tried re-listening to the soundtrack a few times. But I'm like, this is so bad. And it's the same guy who made the music in the other ones as well. And I'm like, I don't know how this is so bad. And they changed the characterization of Kiara so much. She is a completely different character in Lion King 2, and they made her like such a baby in this movie, and she's not like that at all. She's very defiant. She like runs away from home. They made her like a scared little cub that wanted her dad. I'm like, this is so fucking stupid.
Daddy.
All right, go ahead, boy. Number 3.
Well, this is one that we at least got to review. Very, just like you said, very disappointed. This was actually shocking that it was this bad to me. But it was Overlord, Sacred Kingdom. That was a bad film. And it was very, very disappointing to me. I was really excited for this film. I actually caught up for this film. When I learned that the movie was coming out, I was like, all right, we could catch up and stuff like that. You were telling me, Whale, about catching up. I caught up. I was like, all right, they left in a good note. Come into this. What did I get? Absolute rubbish. I really don't know how they're defending it. It just felt like bad 5 episodes of Overlord. It had terrible cuts. No action, really. The only scene that was really cool was the first maybe 10 minutes when he came to attack the fortress, and that was it. There was nothing funny. All it did was kind of tell what already he was trying to plan of taking over. None of the characters were cool at all, or fun, or smart, or anything. They all just fell into pretty much his trap. Of course they were going to fall into his trap. Normally they always do. This film was not it for me. It was a failed attempt. They should be ashamed of what they did here. Very ashamed. That is my number 3.
So let's go on to number 2. Ocean, what do you have for number 2?
I don't remember much about this movie, but I'm gonna trust my past self because I rated this 1 star on Letterboxd. Like, at least there was a couple things I liked about Mufasa, but this one, I don't think there was anything I liked. It was Night Swim, so that's my number 2. And I don't remember it much. I just remember it being really forgettable, and I was like, what a way to start the year. At least this year we started off with a good horror movie, but last year, oh my gosh.
Number 2, I put Madam Web. Y'all are crazy thinking that Craven or something's worse. No, Madam Web was awful. It was funny bad for maybe 5 minutes. Then I was like, wait, this is actually bad. And everyone's like, no, it's funny. Watch it. No, it is bad. There is nothing good in this film. I came into a headache with all the lights flashing and stuff like that. Like, what the hell was going on? Like, it wasn't, even with all these actors that they had, there was no saving him. The ending was total garbage. At least all these other movies had some action scenes. What action scene was this? Him getting hit by a car 3 times? You kidding me? This was terrible. And of course, it was, at least with the other films, there was something there, but I don't care. Craven's the best one out of them all. Madam Web, absolute garbage out of them all. Nothing good. All I remember is Pepsi and it being super, super bad. Bad writing everywhere. It's everything that a superhero movie isn't. At least some other superheroes has action scenes, which is what it really is. This was not it.
I agree, and I'll take that with you because we are in line. We do see Madam Web as number 2 of the worst of 2024. I did not like this film neither. My ass hurt from sitting for too long, and I was laughing at them, here and there, but because, we were there just to make, jokes of it. Yeah. Basically, we weren't the only ones laughing at them. Marvel, even DC were laughing at Sony for even trying. It's like, you didn't get the message, old man. Nobody is watching this garbage, and yet you put out garbage.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those fumbles that they keep doing for some reason, but they kind of enjoy it until finally no one's laughing anymore. So this is definitely a movie that nobody cared about. And to be honest, it is definitely high up there. But now I'm curious for number 1 failed movie of 2024.
Overlord.
Oh, shit.
I was mad the whole
Yeah,
time.
I
I could barely even sit.
Don't blame me.
I was like, this is cringy. This is stupid. This is predictable. This is a waste of my time. I wanted to leave. I did not like it. I hated it. I was just mad. I was like, I just don't even want to talk about it.
All right, so number 1, boy, what is the number tippity top for you?
All right, you already know what it is. Y'all should already know what it is. But it is Argyle.
Oh, that was this year?
That was this year because it was in the beginning of last year. It was in February, so almost a year ago. I would have thought, I would have thought it was a bad, and I'm not doing this because I'm trying to make like a joke or something. No, this was a bad film. This movie was made by the people who made the Secret Service, believe that was it, which the first one was good, but as you can tell, he was, believe a one hit, because the rest I've heard haven't been good, especially The Last Kingsman. But anyways, he managed to get people to give him some more money for this big budget of a film he did with, I believe it's Henry Cavill, John Cena, Bryce Dallas, whatever her name is, and whoever this other main character dude was. But look, this movie has John Cena and Henry Cavill. They were barely in the film, and they were only together on screen for like 1 second. This film was boring, unfunny, terrible action, ridiculous. This was an awful film, but that was terrible. I went home pissed off.
All right, for my number 1 and closing off this top 10 list, it is The Joker. Now, this one was, man, was I disappointed. When you first look back, when all those rumors were going on that there were when Todd Phillips were gonna make a second one, people were excited, and obviously they were happy about it. But once he announced it was gonna be a musical and it's gonna be a little bit different from the first one, and he hated it, I started to get worried. But once that first trailer came out, people started to go, you know what? It's going to be good. Don't worry, Whale. It's going to be good. Look at the trailer. And boy, was it a good trailer. It fooled the hell out of me. It was a great trailer. And when I went in there, my mood changed. I became a different Whale. I did. I was shocked. I was going, what the fuck am I watching? I was screaming. I was tired. This is the first time I really wanted to walk out. Todd Phillips got me. He got a few other people too. And he said it too. He went to a barn and just turned off his social is, you know, everything. It's like his
He's like, "I
social
ain't
presence. And obviously, I get it. He wanted to make a point. But there is a good way of telling it. Not this weird singing up in the mountains or something. Even fooled poor Lady Gaga. She did. She was like, this is going to be my Oscar moment. And boy, did everybody laugh at her. But either way, this is a terrible film. No one should go out and watch this. This is terrible. There's a reason why people, if you don't remember about American Psycho and there was a second one, it's going to be like that. People will remember the first one, but people are going to forget about the second one. That's what's going to happen. And this is exactly what it is. Everyone's going to say, you could watch the first one, forget about the second one. And I couldn't agree with them more. That is our conclusion of the top 10 list. This is a good one. I enjoyed it very much. I had fun with this, but please tell us what you think. Are we wrong? Maybe you think something else is above the worst films in our list? Maybe you guys could think of one even better. But either way, that's what we got, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Later.